If you like scoring, you absolutely loved Edmonton versus Dallas. Stars with a valiant effort, but come up short. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Spits and Suds. I'm Gavin Spittle of 1053 The Fan. Wow, we talk about wide open ice, and that was the case tonight. So the Mikko Rantanen trade's awesome, and I'm totally for it. 8 years, 12 million a year, that's value to me. I know, and we'll get into that in a second. But you look at the injuries defensively and you look at tonight, and maybe and hopefully tonight is an anomaly. But the question will be out there. And someone asked me about the trade yesterday and said, "What do you think?" And I said, if they can hold up defensively, and clearly that was the problem of tonight. Checking was few and far between, just too many open looks. Like, I'll go through the goals right now. Oilers goal number one, Hyman forces his way in between two Stars defenders for the punch in off the McDavid beautiful goal. Absolutely beautiful move by Connor McDavid, getting past Jake Ottinger. But how is Hyman, who's a great player and known for getting in the dirty area, but how does he fight his way in and release himself enough to punch in that goal? Oilers goal number two, Hyman on a breakaway. Now, once again, great pass by just acquired Jake Wallman from San Jose. Wallman's a good player, lifts it, but Hyman gets past Ilya Lyubushkin. You can't allow players to get behind you. Oilers goal number three, Victor Arvidsson left wide open in the slot for a one-timer. Cross ice pass, nobody in the middle, too easy. No goalie stops that one. Oilers goal number four, Connor McDavid collects the puck in his zone, goes end-to-end going around Lyubushkin. I absolutely know why they call him McJeeves. I get it. Call him whatever you want. He's McDavid. He's the best in the league. He's one of the greatest of all time. He has elite speed and skills, but it is what it is. You have to stop him at some point. And I know these things are going to happen throughout the game. And Lyubushkin tried, but McDavid went around him. Lyubushkin couldn't get, one of the mitts on him to slow him down. That's goal number four. Oilers goal number five. Lyubushkin tries too hard to carry it up ice. Puck is stolen away. Since he's moving up ice, it creates a 2-on-1 odd man rush. Connor Brown with the tally. So I just gave you those 5 goals, and they were all based on mistakes. And this is going to happen from time to time. And I think the Oilers made some terrific plays in this game. But the story of this game is defensive lapses. And one of the things Gregory Finley, our producer, and I were talking about was people on Twitter blaming Jake Ottinger for this loss. Am I pro Ottinger? Absolutely. Because I think over the long haul, you have one of the top, 6 goalies in the league. I mean, people around the league, not just Gavin, but around the league, put him in the top 6 as far as best goalies in the NHL. Should he have maybe stopped the Hyman second goal? Yeah, it got through the pads. He thought he had it. But then I'm looking at these other goals. Are you going to stop McDavid? Are you going to stop an Arvidsson one-timer? I mean, how are you going to stop that? Connor Brown 2-on-1, it deflects off Harley. So you saw Ottinger going across the crease to stop the pass. And obviously, then it was easy for Connor Brown to score. So that's a fluky goal. So that's 3. Is it his job to stop Hyman for the tap-in? He tried to stop McDavid, actually forced the puck not to go in the net. And it was the Stars defense that let him down. That's 4. So, yeah, elite goalies need to make these stops. But can we stop with every single game they lose, it's on Jake Ottinger? And if you're going to do that, then you better notice the other night against Calgary, Thursday night, that he kept them in that game when they were being outplayed, and he was outstanding in the second period, and nobody was talking about it. No one on Twitter saying, thank goodness for Jake Ottinger. He makes the hard saves look easy. So, yes, I will defend Jake Ottinger. I will defend Jake Ottinger tonight. Let's talk about some of the positives. So coming off a nice contract signing, Wyatt Johnston, 5th straight game. He's now up to 60 points, 5th straight game with a goal, 60 points in 63 games played. The kid is just that good. On, off the ice, Pete DeBoer was talking about it after the game, how he carries himself. Boy, we got a good one. And for $8.5 million, yeah, it's just 5 years rather than 8. But if you went 8, then you'd probably have to go up $1 million or $2 million a year. Mikko Rantanen, yep, as advertised, folks. I don't know how you watch that game tonight and not get excited about Mikko Rantanen. Goal and an assist. Now, Matt Duchene to me is so good as a passer, especially on the power play. When you watch that Stars power play tonight with 2 goals and the passes by Rantanen, now they might seem simplistic, but those small lift passes right onto the stick tape where the puck just lands flat, the ability to create space. And as you saw in his goal, going down to one knee, firing it top shelf, one-timer. He knows how to find the back of the net. So a couple of you were asking me yesterday, I like Rantanen, but I don't like the 8 years. I like Rantanen, but $12 million a year is a lot. And as I was talking with Robert Tiffin yesterday, it makes sense from a Stars perspective because the highest contract basically has been 9.5, around there. So for a fan of this team, you're looking at $2.5 million more a year. Like, that's a big jump for Stars fans. But as I said yesterday, the Stars have a bunch of very, very good players. Mikko Rantanen is their first elite player. And there are only so many elite players in this league. So you might say to yourself, 8 years is a long time, $12 million per year, that's too much money. But that's what elite players are getting. And let's think about this. He was actually offered more by several teams, but didn't want to go there because he wanted to be in Dallas. We have a player that wants to be here. Wanted to sign a long-term contract to be in Dallas. He felt as though Dallas was the best fit for him. What does that tell you about how good this organization has become? Where Matt Duchene, where Joe Pavelski, where Leon Draisaitl want to play here. Those are marquee players. And as for the $12 million, I just wanted to give you a comparison. Leon Draisaitl makes $14 a year. Elite. Austin Matthews, $13.25 million. Elite. William Nylander, very, very good. I guess you could say elite, 11.5. Tavares on the back end of his career, but 11.5. Still having a good year. Mitch Marner, 10.93. David Pasternak, 11.25. Those are just 6 examples. I can give you more. So that $12 million, when you look at those other players around the league, and I didn't even mention Connor McDavid. Obviously, he's on another level. Nathan McKinnon's on another level. But $12 million actually is not that bad. All these players got the bag and the term. And if you want an elite player, you need to offer them 7 in the open market or 8 if they're on your team with no movement. That's what you have to do. Otherwise, like, why would Mikko Rantanen agree to a 4 or 5 year contract? Why would Mikko Rantanen, if you're in Mikko Rantanen's shoes, okay, and over your career, over your career, you have scored 687 points in 632 games. You're a plus 87 in your career. You're 2 points assists away from 400 assists. And by the way, you're only 28. You're not going to accept 4 or 5 years, and you're certainly not going to accept 9 or 10 million. You're going to accept more. So I think it's actually a fair contract. I think it's fair for Rantanen, and it's actually fair for the Stars. Rantanen is a 1+ point per game, as I just proved, for his entire career. He's coming off 2 100-point seasons. And this is what's most amazing. He's headed toward 100 points again this year. And that's with 3 different teams with 3 different systems. So let's put that in perspective. As far as attitude, I did some digging. The attitude is really actually very good. Do not put in stock as far as what happened in Carolina. Sean Shapiro pointed it out. Totally different style. Not sure why Carolina didn't think about that or ask Colorado as far as before the trade if they could talk to Rantanen to find out if he would actually play and remain in Carolina. Not sure about that. And I think actually considering the circumstances, getting Stankoven, getting 2 first-round picks, getting 2 third-round picks, I mean, that's not bad. I think giving up Natchez was worse. I think the first deal was worse. And let's talk about Logan Stankoven for a second. I mean, who doesn't love Logan Stankoven? And I think it's awesome that he's going to be on that first line when Carolina hits Winnipeg. But can he be a point-plus producer per game? No. I mean, Logan Stankoven, if he collects 50, 60 points, that's a really good year. And he's a grinder, and he's really good at it. And he's tenacious as far as back checking. He never stops. He's like a water bug. I love the player. But we say this all the times. I feel like I put this on repeat. To get, you have to give. Carolina got a good player in Logan Stankoven who's had a down year, a little bit of bad luck, but nice change of scenery for Stankoven. And it's kind of a shame because he would have been playing in Vancouver in front of a lot of friends and family, but I'm sure he'll get that chance in Carolina. And then you look at the other parts of the trade. Can you draft someone at the bottom of the first round? Because you're going to be a deep or you're going to be a playoff contender for numerous years, and you're going to finish with a strong record. So that is going to put you toward the bottom of the first round. So maybe this trade is different if a player is selected that becomes a 100-point player, but they just don't come around that often. And I do want to add, before I get to your Twitter/X questions, I do love the fight of this team. They made it in, 5-1 going in, and they made it into a game. They deserve a lot of credit for that. Outstanding third period. Of course, we can criticize the first 2 periods, the open ice, the bad defense. But, kudos to them. Easily could have given up, went through the motions. They didn't. Had a very strong third period. Hopefully they can continue that in Vancouver. And you know what? You're going to lose games. That's the other thing I wanted to point out. But since the Four Nations break, you're 6-2. So you're playing good hockey. And, Edmonton just, got you tonight. I do want us to adjust our rear view mirror just a little bit and keep an eye on the Colorado Avalanche. They picked up Brock Nelson. They got reinforcements. 14 goals in the last 2 games. They're healthy. Nichushkin with a hat trick. 5 wins in a row. They passed Minnesota in the standings. They're now just 6 points back of Dallas with a big game against the Stars next Sunday. Stars do have a game in hand, but plenty of time left. So not hitting the panic button, but we do have to adjust the rear view mirror and just make sure that we're keeping an eye on Colorado. Let's go to your questions, opinions. Andrew Buck says, the expected goals against numbers are actually worse than the real goals against numbers. We need Miro for a cup run. We aren't defending well enough to beat the Avs or the Oilers in a playoff series, even with the forward depth. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough because they score goals just like you do, and they have talented players. So both series would be exciting if you play Edmonton or if you play Colorado. I mean, a Colorado series would be electric. Yeah, it's tough not having Miro Heiskanen, of course. That's your top defenseman. Mare Bear, hi from Vancouver. Took the train up to see the boys take on the Canucks tomorrow. Tough loss. Loved watching the comeback effort. Let the Sudsies, you know what? We need to use that name, the Sudsies. That's, God, so simplistic, but so beautiful, Mare Bear. We need to let the Sudsies know that if they want a Stars friendship bracelet tomorrow in Vancouver, come find the girl with a blonde streak in section 116. So Mare Bear will be in section 116. You can reach out to her on Twitter at PDX Meredith. At PDX Meredith. So send her a tweet if you want your Stars friendship bracelet. And just letting you know, Mare Bear, I do want a Stars friendship bracelet. All right. Michael says, Labushin, worst game as a Star, in my opinion, looked flat-footed all night. He had a tough game. This was his worst game. But Ilya Labushkin, I think, has been much better than advertised this year. And maybe he's tired. Maybe this team is tired. They do get a break after Vancouver. They're not in action until next Friday against Winnipeg. It's really their first break in a bit since the Four Nations. So maybe get some rest. And let's hope for the best for the Stars defense. But yeah, Labushkin, tough game tonight, but fully have confidence that he'll bounce back. You know, the other thing is, and I'm not trying to, because I talked about him the other night, I'm not trying to get on to Oscar Beck. I'm really not. But can we see Colin Blackwell tomorrow night? I really would love that move. I just think it would be nice for Beck to sit down, and I really want to get Blackwell in the lineup. You know, I love his spark. I love his energy. I think he's got goal scoring ability. I'm just not seeing that much out of Oscar Beck. Are you guys seeing anything out of Oscar Beck that makes you say, boy, I want to keep him in the lineup? Steven at Steady Rhythms, good Twitter handle. They were pretty much horrendous for 2 periods and still almost completed a 4-goal comeback. Granted, the Oilers were without Ekholm. Yeah, great point, Steven. Boy, do I love Ekholm on the blue line. He is terrific. What a trade they made a couple of years ago with Nashville to get Ekholm. They have been a different team since getting Ekholm. When Miro and Hintz are back, I think this team can do anything. Sucks to lose, but there is so much promise to take from that game. Let's get into Rope Hintz. Was hit by a puck in the face. Peter DeBoer said after the game, taken to the hospital, precautionary. They don't know, but anytime a player is taken to the hospital might mean that they're out of action tomorrow. But I will say this. When you look at what happened to Mason Marchment this year, hit in the face twice. When you look at Rope Hintz, hit in the face, and you look around the league, I understand this is a tough guy league. I understand this is warrior/gladiator mentality. But can we just go to cages? I mean, think about it. Why not? I know the players might say, no, we don't want it. It blurs our vision. But at the same time, you know what? They complained when they had to put helmets on. I mean, at some point, someone's really going to get damaged. You would just think that face shield could come down a little bit more and protect them a little bit more. That's just me. I think it's coming. I think it's down the line, but why not? They do it in college. They do it in other leagues. It's not like we need to see their faces. We know who they are. Okay. Let's see. Bubba Knocker. I don't know if there's such a thing as a character loss, but the team showed some fight, dragging it back to an empty net with 2 minutes to go. Thought Dumba was the only D-man who really had his night. Yeah, actually, Dumba looked pretty good tonight, and that 55 and 23 left a lot to be desired. Also, 29 was pretty shaky. Interesting. It was just a tough night for the defense all around. And I will say this in their defense, it is Edmonton, right? You give McDavid space and he's going to go to work. You give Draisaitl space. I mean, talk about Draisaitl, even in the faceoff circle. The guy is unbelievable. I don't know how a guy that good can be overshadowed. And I guess it's because you have the best all time or one of the tops all time playing with you. But man, they are good. Let's see. Husky got a lot on my mind. This frustrating loss. I want to point out that before the Miro injury, the Stars were averaging 2.46 goals against. Since the injury, they're averaging 3.23 goals against. Thanks for the stats, Husky. Chris Stabkoven loved the fight and loved that they don't quit even in their sloppy games. Yeah, you know what? They made it fun for Stars games tonight. Stars fans, should I say. Brian Schofield, how many Dallas Stars faces have to be sacrificed to the hockey guards before the Stars wear cages before they are injured? Brian, you and I agree. And you guys know how much I love physicality and dropping the mitts and old school. You know I love that. But enough is enough with the facial injuries. All right. Jordan H., when it came to watching Moose tonight, was there anything that stood out to you? For myself, it was a puck movement ability. Some of those passes he made were incredible. What a whirlwind Mikko Rantanen has had. Going from Denver, which he loved, very much like Luka Doncic, where you could see he was truly shocked by getting traded, to Carolina, different system, probably a system that doesn't fit his game. Now to Dallas, more of a creative, open style of play, good or bad. So it's been a whirlwind for Mikko Rantanen. I got to be honest with you guys. I could never tell that this is Mikko Rantanen's first game. It is absolutely amazing that these NHL players can adjust just like that to new systems. I guess hockey's hockey. But you're right. The passing ability tonight, Jordan, was elite. The goal scoring, getting down on one knee, that is so pretty when it happens. And we almost take that for granted because a lot of players will look, hold it, and then go. But in those cases, the one-timer is where it's at. So to do a one-timer, which is not as accurate, and to put it where he put it was beautiful. The stealing of the puck early on in this game, when it was in Edmonton zone and it created more opportunities, that was beautiful as well. Yeah, really good game tonight for him. And shout out Chris Barnard, who was at the game tonight. Always a Spits and Suds faithful. So the Stars lose. We got a lot to talk about. Colorado is catching up. Minnesota looks like, they're going to be on the wild card. If it's a Colorado-Dallas first round, whoo-wee, that is absolutely crazy. But Stars lose tonight. We'll be back after the game, hopefully back on the winning trail tomorrow night against Vancouver. We'll also look at Logan Stankoven's debut with the Carolina Hurricanes and whatever other NHL news will happen. That will happen tomorrow night following Canucks Stars. We'll have a post game for you right here on Spits and Suds. Until then, enjoy your Sunday, everyone. Well, it started out very ugly, but you ended up with 2 points. That's just a beautiful thing. Hello, and welcome to another victory edition of Spits and Suds. I'm Gavin Spittle. Stars with a big win in Vancouver. The second game of a back-to-back, and the newest Stars are the stars of the show tonight. 2 games, 2 goals, 3 points total for Mikko Rantanen. Granlund nets his first goal as a Dallas Star. Those 2 Finns, so a nice game tonight. And Cody Ceci with a strong game offensively. I guess we can call him a new star. Casey DeSmith, his first year with the club, signing that 3-year, $3 million contract, wins his 6th straight game. And let's begin there. Boy, he's been so steady between the pipes this year, and back-to-backs are so tough in the NHL. You have travel. You're not necessarily skating that next morning. Basically, it's get in, go to sleep, wake up, get into your routine, get to the arena, and play the game. And thank goodness, Stars fans, I know you guys want to see more hockey, but this is a well-deserved week of rest and practice before heading to Winnipeg for a Friday night tilt. Team will come back to Dallas and get some practicing in and sleep in their own beds. And obviously they'll take off Thursday for Winnipeg, and that's followed by a Sunday night tilt in Colorado. So 2 important Central Division games coming up this weekend. But you split back-to-back after losing to Edmonton, and Casey DeSmith just looked solid all night. His puck control and his awareness and his angles, very, very good. And you know, one of the things about this game is, it ended up 4-1, but it was a close game, and he made some strategic saves at points where easily Vancouver might have went up 2-1 or caught up to the Stars. So 956 save percentage for DeSmith tonight. He was absolutely wonderful. Let's talk about the Granlund goal, because he's wide open for the putback on the rebound to make it 2-1. And the question was, why is he so open? I'd encourage all of you to go to NHL.com. And when you click on the game center, it will show you the highlights of this game. And one of the things that you'll see is Mikko Rantanen has 2 Canucks players tied up in front of the net. They're both paying attention to Mikko Rantanen. So no one is covering Granlund. And what did we talk about last night? One of the aspects in getting a guy like Mikko Rantanen, he creates space because you have to respect when he's on the ice. That was the case last night. Jason Robertson cross-checked into the benches late in the first period. Mikko Rantanen sees it, protects Robinson. That says a ton about him, taking exception. Just 1 game played with the Dallas Stars. So good on Rantanen seeing that. He went to the penalty box. I think Stars fans will take that any day. So kudos to Mikko Rantanen and the way he's playing so far. I think it's been an absolutely wonderful debut. Hey, the 4th line was terrific. You guys know I've been calling for Blackwell to get in. I hate that it happened because of a Roope Hintz injury. Roope Hintz sent home early, but I thought Blackwell played really, really well tonight, came out with a lot of energy. I love the energy and spunk he provides, the checking and the forecheck. So Blackwell, Steele, and Beck, I thought were terrific tonight. 4th line, putting a lot of pressure and having some chances tonight against Vancouver. So I thought that was really good. And then we see the Jason Robertson off the boards to himself, which begins the tic-tac-toe with Matt Duchene. Absolutely brilliant pass by Duchene for basically it's a one-time tip into the net. And Robertson scores from Duchene. And, you know, it just seemed as though the Stars got the legs under them because it was a really ugly game in like the first period and a half. And then the Stars started to play much better. I thought they finished strong in the 3rd period. Just a really, really nice performance by Dallas. And what I love about Pete DeBoer's teams is they bounce back and they bounce back quick. You don't see this Stars franchise under Pete DeBoer losing 3-4 games in a row. So you guys have some great tweets tonight. Let's take them. Aaron Thacker, tonight was a good bounce back win. Defense was better and DeSmith was sensational. He was really good. and it was an excellent bounce back win. Thanks, Thack Man. Stick tap to you, Chris Barnard. They blocked my view standing up all game when the Oilers scored because Chris was there last night. Lots of Stars sweaters in the barn. That's a great point, both in Vancouver and in Edmonton. And frankly, we're seeing it all year long. Stars fans traveling. This team, both home and away, with a really, really nice support base. So stick tap to you, Stars fans. Jordan H., my man, Harper hockey fan. You have to appreciate Jason Robertson's effort and determination tonight. Great to see him rewarded with a goal. Yep, absolutely. Andrew Buck, this has been a major issue in the last couple of games, trying to be too perfect and pass the puck into the net. That comes off of Rod Norton's tweet. Do they seem to be in love with the perfect pass? Overpassing, seem to forget that rebounds need shots first. I guess you could see that at times tonight. But, at the same time, when you're a very talented passing team, sometimes you do get in the habit of looking and trying to get that perfect pass. And sometimes that perfect pass, like we've seen on the last couple of nights on the Granlund rebound, it comes off one of those low slap shots that creates a rebound. Gregory Finley sends this to us via Stats Center on Twitter X. Most career points by the age of 25, Dallas Stars franchise history. The greatness of Brian Bellows, followed by Mike Modano, Bobby Smith, Steve Payne, and then Jason Robertson via the goal tonight, 418. And this is where it sets in as far as what he's been able to do as a Dallas Star. Next on the list, Dino Ciccarelli. That's an all-time Minnesota North Stars name. Tim Young with 387. Neil Broughton, who's nicknamed Mr. Minnesota, has 364. So when you look at the statistics, Jason Robertson's certainly up there. It does remind me, by the way, I mean, every time I see these stats, how good Mike Modano obviously was. He has a statue. But Brian Bellows, wow, what a start to his NHL career. That's one of those names that in North Stars, Ciccarelli and Bellows are two guys that probably could make an argument that they might have their jersey up there. Not necessarily like Hall of Fame guys, but just guys that made an amazing impact with the Minnesota North Stars, similar to what Neil Broughton did. And obviously Neil Broughton was a part of the 1980 Olympic team as well. Wanted to go around the league just for a second because some really interesting things happening. So I was listening to the Columbus Rangers game today, and boy, was that an amazing game. And the Rangers were down 3-1. And I'm rooting for Columbus this year. And I think most of us are, based on what happened, the tragic passing of Johnny Gaudreau. And they truly are just a great story. How Don Waddell, the general manager, has made some moves in the offseason, made a coaching change, and Columbus right now is in the playoffs, which is ahead of their schedule as far as the rebuild. And they have director of hockey operations or player personnel, Rick Nash. So it's a real cool storylines in Columbus. Obviously, they played at the Horseshoe this year, or the Shoe, at Ohio State against Detroit. So a lot of good things happening with Columbus hockey. They ended up winning 7-3, but New York actually came back based on 2 shorthanded goals. And I'm listening to this and I'm like, oh my God, I go mad when I see a shorthanded goal. You guys know I do. But giving up 2 and 2 straight, but they end up winning the game. A big win for Columbus against the Rangers at Madison Square Garden by the score of 7-3. Logan Stankoven in his first game with Carolina nets his first goal, and it was a nice one. A tip, Joe Pavelski style, in front of Connor Hellebuck. And Carolina does Dallas a little bit of a favor by winning by the score of 4-2. Winnipeg still kind of far in front, basically has the same lead as Dallas has on Colorado. Dallas has 86 points. Winnipeg is 6 points ahead at 92. And Dallas is 8 points currently ahead of Colorado for the third spot. If you're wondering, with game 64 played, chances of Dallas making just the playoffs, because that's important, obviously, as well. The final wild card team at this point is Calgary, and they have 70 points. So basically Calgary at 70 and the Dallas Stars at 86. So 16 points to drop with just under 20 games left, 18 games left. So clearly the Stars ready to clinch a playoff spot, and that is awesome. But you want that 2 seed, specifically if Colorado enters that 3rd seed and stays there, winners of 5. I mean, but heck, when you look at it, Dallas 8-2 in their last 10, so it's not like the Stars are slumping. It's just, it's very tough for all of these Central Division teams to make any ground, because you look at the top 3, Winnipeg 6-3-1, and that's down for them. And then, as I mentioned, Dallas 8-2-1, and then Colorado 7-3, and then even Minnesota in the wild card are even at 5-5. So, you know, the Central Division is a gauntlet. I think it's the toughest division this year in hockey. It got better at the trade deadline, so it's going to be really, really tough if the Stars play Colorado. And you want to talk about an opening matchup with a lot of adrenaline, with the return of Mikko Rantanen in the playoffs against the Colorado Avalanche. Whew, fireworks. Even just going back there on Sunday, I'm sure they'll do a tribute. You know, I heard it on there was a hockey show, and they were talking, I wonder what the Mikko Rantanen reception is going to be. I mean, if it's not cheering, I mean, he won a Stanley Cup with you, and he was instrumental in that Stanley Cup, and he's been instrumental in the success of your team in Denver. Why wouldn't you cheer for him? I mean, you got to put contract stuff aside, getting traded aside. Colorado did what was in their best interest, not thinking that they could sign them. And they got Martin Necas with an extra year of control, and he's tearing it up with Nathan McKinnon. Brock Nelson now is a Colorado Avalanche. He looked really, really good the other night in his debut. So Colorado is going to be a real, real tough out if Dallas gets them in the first round. That could be the best first round series in hockey. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Hey, we're not going to take this week off. We'll still have some Spits and Suds episodes, but tonight we just wanted to pop on. Real nice win by the Stars by the score of 4-1. Great to see the Finns and the newest additions of the Dallas Stars basically having a whale of a game. So until next time, when we talk to you again with some more guests and some more Stars notes and around the NHL, I'm Gavin Spittle. Thank you so much. We're off to an amazing start in March, and that's because of you. And don't forget, if you listen to us on Apple, you can leave us a review. We absolutely love reviews and what you say about the show. It also helps us as far as what we call the search engine optimization. You can also reach me at any time at GJ Spittle. I try to get back to each and every one of you when I can. And thanks once again. So until next time, have a great day, everyone.